Yes, what's good, ladies and gents? Welcome back to MKO Boxing, aka MKO Pugilism, where we talk all things boxing. Remember to like and subscribe, follow me on TikTok, all that good stuff. So, over the weekend, we had a brilliant war between Chris Eubank Jr. and Nigel. Sorry, not Nigel. I'm such a fan of his dad, I'm saying. But Conor Benn, should I say. They had a war, they had a slugfest. Chris Eubank Jr. came out on top. And as I understand it, Chris Eubank has been in hospital immediately after the fight. He's still getting treatment. He was cut in the eye. There's rumors, I can't confirm them, but it might even be a broken jaw because he did take some heavy shots off of Conor Benn. And the story is really in this one a bit of breaking news. Some might know, some might not. But apparently, allegedly, as they say, it's not been officially announced, but allegedly there's going to be a rematch of this fight. And that rematch takes place in September. And from what I'm hearing, it's going to be back again in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I, for one, think it's one of those where we don't really need a rematch per se. I think this fight was enough. I mean, I think if, you could argue that, okay, because it was quite close and because it was a very, very good fight, great fight, that justifies a rematch. And I suppose I understand it from that point of view. But the way I see it is one of those things where they're clearly different weights. Conor Benn did hold his own, but surely for me, Conor Benn would be better going back down towards the more natural weight of 147 at welterweight, and Chris Eubank Jr., if he does fight again, have fights at super middleweight. I think it's better they, for their bodies and everything, for their health, and I think it's better that Chris Eubank just goes up to his weight, 168. I think 160 is a struggle. And then Conor Benn goes down to sort of 147. But I would say that probably for Conor Benn, it might be best to gradually go down, go sort of fight at 154 first, maybe once or twice, and then you'd get yourself down to 147. I think the immediate jump from 160 to 147 immediately in one fight might be too much. But anyway, I think most likely, since, the money in the room, as Simon Jordan calls it, Taki al-Sheikh, he's the one that, I believe, apparently he's the one that allegedly is organized this fight, and it's a 2-fight contract, so more than likely, as much as I'm saying what I'm saying, the rematch will happen. And I think it's going to be a tough one. I reckon if you're Chris Eubank Jr. needs to definitely they need to remove that rehydration clause from the contract, because that it clearly sort of affected Eubank Jr. in the fight. He clearly was struggling at points and was fatigued, and I think the punch resistance was affected by the rehydration. You could tell he was a bit drained in there, a little bit gaunt in there. So if you're Chris Eubank and the rematch is demanded, I'd say if you're him, you want to remove that rehydration clause, and perhaps as Hatman Strikes Back and G-Man Boxing both said, I don't know who else has said it, but no, those two said it, that basically Chris Eubank Jr. should demand that they make it at 165 rather than 160. But, that's my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section, and until next time, MKO Boxing, we're over and out.